This is how we're going to fix every gun in HellDivers 2. Starting off with the assault rifles. We're going to bundle all the Liberators together and use the base AR-23 Liberator as the baseline to build around the rest of them. Because in my opinion, the 23 Liberator is probably pretty balanced the way it is right now. So for the Penetrator, in reality, all it needs to do is have more damage than the base gun, give it 70 to 75, then tone down the rate of fire to about 600. Boom, fixed it. It's better. For the concussive, give it the same rate of fire as the base gun, and now it's valid. For the tenderizer, make it do about 80 damage, boom, done. As for the adjudicator, make it do 100 damage, done. Marksman rifles in general, I think are fairly balanced. I think. Make the diligence counter do 175. Make the normal diligence do about 150. For the SMGs, I want the MP98 Knight to have 10 magazines rather than 7. Or I want the mag capacity to increase to 75, because ammo capacity is really the only downside to this submachine gun. The SMG Defender itself is okay. It's good where it is, as well as the Pummeler. I think the Pummeler, it's fairly balanced. It does 5 less damage with a little bit less rate of fire, but you stun enemies, similar to the concussive Liberator. As for shotguns, Punisher is pretty solid where it is. The Slugger needs to have equal, if not more damage, and just make it hold 10 instead of 16. And then I think it'll balance it out. You have more range, but you have less rounds to hold. Now for the breakers, we are going to base the rest of the breakers off normal breaker, and I think it's fairly balanced where it is right now, so we don't need to touch it. The spray and pray needs to have more damage, maybe 250 instead of 192, and then I think it'll be solid. For the breaker incendiary, it's solid, don't touch it. If you do, I'll be mad. As for the explosive weapons, the crossbow needs to either have a much larger explosion radius, or it needs to have explosion damage similar to that of an impact grenade. Also make it rounds reload similar to the Magnum, reload individual bolts, and then when you empty it, reload a whole bolt clip. Dominator's good where it is, don't touch it. The Eruptor is okay, leave it alone. Punisher Plasma, I think it's solid. I think the Punisher Plasma is solid, won't need to touch it. The Blitzer needs to do much more damage and needs to have a much bigger arc radius. I'm thinking have it do maybe 300 to 350 damage, somewhere around there. As for the Scythe and laser weapons in general needs to inflict burn damage after about 2 seconds of continuous damage. 350 damage per second is honestly pretty shit when the base Liberator assault rifle does about 640 per second when you do the math on it. The Sickle is pretty solid. I think it's okay. We can leave it where it is. The Scorcher as well, I think is very solid. I don't think we need to touch it. The Purifier being similar to the Scorcher in that it fires the same type of superheated gas rounds or whatever. I don't know how that works. I'm not a physicist. But the Purifier needs to do about probably 400 damage, I think, and maybe bring the capacity down to about 10. Then I think that right there would make it a fairly balanced weapon in general, or just make the charge up time a little less. As for our secondaries, I want the Peacemaker to do 100 damage. Tone down the recoil on the Redeemer. Don't fucking touch the grenade pistol. I love it and it's good where it is. Don't touch it. As for the Dagger, I want the Dagger to do about 300 damage per second. The Verdict needs to do 200 damage, and then the Cinder needs to do 300. If we're going to talk about the grenades, I think all the grenades are good and they're solid where they are. I don't think any of them need changing, except for the Thermite grenade. I was so heavily disappointed when this grenade got released. I think in general it needs to do 1,000 damage. Now hear me out. I think the Thermite needs to deal 1,000 damage in total, okay? And just make it to where you can hold 2. Or even just 1. If 1,000 damage is too much, make it just let me hold 1 and then hold 2 with the increased armor rating. Okay? Something like that. And I think the Thermite would be valid in higher level play. Oh, baby. We're not done yet, though. We're not done yet. I'm going to talk about the stratagems now, heavy weapons. I think most all of the support weapons are kind of solid where they are. The majority of them, though, okay? The machine gun is good, the AMR is good, and I don't see any changes for them, except for the heavy machine gun. The heavy machine gun needs to have a 100-round box mag, and I think we need to tone down the recoil on it, okay? I believe that the bitch is heavy enough to control itself. And now here is my controversial take on the railgun. Let me know if you think this is good or if I'm stupid. Make it a disposable weapon, okay, with 10 pre-charged shots, and give its old damage back. Get rid of the charge up time for it. Give it 10 shots preloaded. Make it disposable, maybe with a 3 to 5 minute cooldown. And if not a 3 to 5 minute cooldown, give it limited uses. Perhaps 4 or 5 limited uses for the railgun. As for the Quasar Cannon, either give it magazines to where you can actually shoot multiple at a time, or tone down the charge up time again. And other than that, I really think everything else is kind of solid where it is. And I think that is gonna about do it for how I would balance this game and make it fun again for everyone. Let me know what you think. Leave a like if you think these are solid ideas, dislike if you think I'm retarded, and subscribe for more.